My people were biologically determined for one purpose alone, to sense the coming of damn fine podcasts. I sense it coming now.
All right, hello and welcome to a Discovery Home Companion, your companion for Star Trek Discovery, and we promise we don't want to hurt you anymore, baby. I'll try to do better.
You will never be able to podcast as good as us. Your tongue is too human.
Just a note, I've been like real sick this weekend with the flu and stuff, and if y'all are too mean to me in this podcast, the doctor said I might die. So
he's like Wyatt Earp's wife in Tombstone. He's got
delicate sensibilities.
He's nervous. He's nervous.
Yeah.
All of your
laudanum.
We need your Patreon money to go to laudanum treatments.
Right.
And bloodletting.
I'm basically the Widow Garrett right now.
All right. This week we're talking about episode 11 of season 1 of Star Trek Discovery.
We haven't even introduced ourselves.
I'm sorry.
You know who we are, I think. You know who I am? No, I don't know. My name is Wade Bowen. We also have here James Nolan.
Hey, guys.
And Hugh Crawford.
All right. Hello. Just jumping the gun a little bit. Sorry about that, everybody. This week we're talking about The Wolf Inside, which is there's a lot of wolves in this episode. But this is
Right.
is episode 11 of season 1, and IMDb does not even have an official description printed up yet. Although
for some reason, it's not. I guess it's more me than anything else. But this episode title just makes me think of In Excess all the time, and the devil inside keeps.
The mirror, it's more of a mirror wolf inside.
Right. It's not about horniness like In Excess songs are.
But Ash Tyler Twilight Princess might be.
That's right.
What we just want? What are we going to talk about now that everything happened in this episode that we talked about last week?
Right. Well, I don't know. I'm thinking, all right, let's try something different. One of you guys, do you want to give just a recap of what this episode?
A quick recap?
Since we don't have an IMDb description.
It starts off with a pretty lengthy, not montage, but sort of like opening sequence about bathing rituals in the mirror universe. No.
Oh my god!
It's all right.
I just want to take a bath,
But basically, in a nutshell, the plot of this story is that she's trying to get this information about Discovery, but it's coded in the USS Defiant. Sorry, the USS Defiant, but it's locked and she can't decipher it. But she has got it on a chip. She's got to get it to the Discovery because she's on the evil Shinzon. So, but the Emperor tells her to go infiltrate, to blow up a group of rebels. She decides to actually infiltrate them. She takes Ash Tyler, our friend, Tyler, with her.
Totally normal human from Seattle.
Just totally normal,
totally
the
normal
best
human.
guy, just a real stand-up guy.
They go down there. They meet Tellarites and Andorans and Sarek and whatever. Vok is like a cool dude who's like really worked really hard and assembled.
He's
a
like
group
the
of
Martin Sheen of the Resistance. He's like he's like President Bartlett of
he's like a really cool dude. But while they're there, it turns out that Ash Tyler, looking at Mirror Vok, realizes, to the shock of everyone, that he's Vok.
Yeah, I didn't see that one coming.
He then fights this mongrel Mirror Vok. They have to stop it. Nothing comes of it. And they go up. She tells them they're going to blow up them, so get the fuck out. She's trying to help the Resistance. While also, what did she get from them?
like codes for outposts.
Oh yeah, where all their bases are.
Where all
Oh
the
yeah,
bit,
but
like,
she
yeah.
said that I need something from you. What? Oh, she.
Yeah,
oh,
it was,
to
that
prove
was,
that-
and he
no,
like
no,
went to the
no,
3D.
that was her. That was getting her parking validated. But like,
Yeah, exactly.
she needed to like know how the Federation could work together as a team, which they
Oh,
already
yeah.
have. That was what the show.
Oh yeah,
Enterprise
she
was
kept
about.
on pressing her luck. She kept on having conversation. Yeah, but how do you do it? And he was like, "I'm a Klingon." Yeah, but how do you do that being a Klingon? And he's like, "I'm. It's my duty." Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's unpack that. That
Okay,
scene
I'm not trying to
was-
make value judgments here. Okay, so
No.
then she.
Well, I mean, what is the
then-
Federation about if not just over talking shit? Right?
Sure.
Yeah, and-
Sure.
Well, it's apparently like figuring out how they formed 100 years ago.
Well,
Which is
my whole
a-
thing was is like,
but
I was
anyway.
like, "Girl,
Well,
you
but
gotta
not the
move
Klingons.
before you get discovered
Sure.
by your crew." I was like, there was a time of the essence. Like I was worried about getting them getting found out, and she kept on going, "But no, let's have a tell me,
So
please."
she has to go home with this man who's now officially like a full bore Klingon, but he's fine for them to transport up. So they transport up to the ship, and then they go back to her room, and then they get into a fight, and then he says, "I'm fuck, and I'm going to kick your fucking ass," and he starts. Then Saru, then Mirror Saru beats the shit out of him.
I like that.
The grateful slave trope. Oh,
Yeah.
just when
Yeah.
you could have cram. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So then they're going to teleport him out into space, which is what they do, and she has to watch it. But then she really teleports him to.
No, she
Well, but-
she spaces him, but
whatever.
she contacted the
Yeah.
probably in her room to get the Discovery to pick him up.
Sorry, I was trying to cut a corner there. Sorry, it was one bit more complicated than that.
Well, I'm sorry. It took 2 seconds to.
She teleports him to the Enterprise, and he's got the code chip that she needed to get to them. So she used him as a vessel. And Stamets is there's two Stametses, and then she gets called to the bridge because the Emperor is pissed at her, and the Emperor is Michelle Yeoh, which is a surprise.
Also, so surprising.
And Lorca gives a knowing look, which would be a surprise because why wouldn't Lorca know that? All right.
Oh god damn, we're talking about Discovery, aren't we? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So,
damn.
yeah, so this episode basically was everything that we predicted before.
Yep.
Yep.
So, what are our general thoughts? I believe I said at some point we're going to start off with the positives, so you talk, Wade.
All right. Well, shit. Yeah, I enjoyed this episode. It was.
But when you say you enjoy it, like when Ash and Burnham are having all their scenes together, and you know the outcome already because you've predicted it, and because of
Well, here's what I enjoyed. Like what I said last episode, of we were starting off on a new kind of point on the show, and what I said I hope they were doing now, and instead of doing these kind of one-off episodic episodes where the problem is a new problem that comes up and is not anything that arises. The problem of the episode is not a result of anything that really happened in the previous episode. It's just like an episodic, this thing's happening too, and we're having to deal with it while we have these time bomb issues in the background, like Ashfaq or whatever. But like I said last week, going into this mirror arc here, it feels like they're setting up to maybe where they're setting up an actually like serialized show where at the end of the episode, the problems that they're dealing with are compounded and lead into the next episode.
But you're not, you don't personally feel like, all right, get it over with. I know what's going on. You never had that feeling watching this
No, I
episode.
mean, I figured I know what's going on, and I'm glad. I'm also very glad just to have the Vok reveal just out of the way, because like we all knew it was going to happen. Let's just get it past.
I guess they did have a small problem, and they really do downplay how much of a problem it is at the beginning, where they have to have the Defiant plans get to the Discovery, and they don't know exactly how they're going to do it.
Yeah.
And then that turns out to be the cool reveal at the end, where you think Burnham went off the deep end and straight up killed a motherfucker because she tried to break up with him because he's not really human. And actually that's the way that she was going to get the plans off of, the Death Star or whatever.
Yeah. And I like that the Ashfaq reveal I like that she wasn't like, okay, and now I realize I'm a Klingon, but I've also learned what love is, so maybe I don't hate you. You know, it was like he was like, oh shit, I'm a Klingon, I'm gonna fuck shit up.
Yeah.
Which, as opposed to like, oh, but you're my tether, and now I love you, and I'm a Klingon that also knows what love is, and I'm not mad at you anymore. It's like, no, I'm a.
So are we? I mean, I know that we saw it coming. So the fact that it came is I guess a relief or a validation, or we don't have to worry about it anymore. But I mean, are we happy with how it all went down? I mean, this is the big thing. This is the big.
Sounds like maybe you're not.
This is the big thing that's been set up from the first episode.
Well, this is the big hook that the transhuman
Yes.
secret Klingon is like the big nod from the original series that they were awfully proud of. Like, they were really proud that they came up with this as a concept.
Yeah, they're a little too proud of themselves, I think. But
They are. I just read that they just released an article about, hey guys,
Tell me that.
Javid Iqbal is not a real person, and they talk about the reveal and that we wanted to cast the same actor to play Vok as that played Ash Tyler,
right.
and we knew that if the audience knew,
Yeah, we had to
that-
hide it because if the audience figured it out, Michael Burnham would
then
look
they
dumb.
would make Michael Burnham look dumb for not figuring it out, and we're like,
well,
yeah.
Well, here,
And
to be
so-
fair, in Michael Burnham's world, Vok wasn't somebody who just disappeared off of the face of the planet
Face of the
and
planet,
have a
yeah.
new person
Yeah.
appear just out of nowhere. You know?
That's true. That's a valid thing.
I mean, Michael Burnham wasn't everywhere at all times,
so yeah.
and then still didn't figure it out.
so
So if you were on the internet and you were like, "I'm pretty sure that Ash and Vok are two different people," then we should feel
Right.
You know, maybe we're watching a little bit close. I don't know. I don't want to pass too much judgment on other people, but
Right. I don't necessarily feel like Michael Burnham is dumb. I feel
the showrunners are dumb.
the writers thought we were all idiots or something, like because like we wouldn't figure it out just because they put all the smoke
There
screen up.
is, and I don't. Maybe this is a issue with me, but there is something vaguely insulting when a show is not hiding its wires. You know,
but they took an idea from 1967 that was used in 40 minutes and decided that would be the scaffolding for the first 3/4 of their new Star Trek episode.
and it's Homeland, it's Manchurian Candidate storyline that's been done a long time. I guess I'm just saying that. Okay, so for most of us, not everyone, obviously, not everyone. They either binge watched it and didn't, just let the show wash over you, and you didn't spend you didn't have a week to think these things through, or I don't know, maybe you wash clothes while you're folding laundry and it's fun, and you're not.
Sure.
You don't have a podcast afterwards, and then then have a Q&A podcast later in the week. So you're not thinking about it as much as we think about it. You're not reading articles about it as much as we read articles.
And you might
about
not
it.
even, like you said, you might not just be giving it your full attention.
Yeah.
in
Like
the
a lot of
moment.
people a lot of people watch clothes while they're reading Twitter or folding clothes or
Right.
whatever. But
I don't know. Are you watching clothes during an episode that you're paying $7 a month for?
that's a good question. You got to pay money for this, or go on the seas and get it, and then get it projected onto your whatever. Yes. So the question is, you did this big storyline. We saw it coming, and all of the problems that involve that.
Right.
But,
I mean, we saw it
like,
coming before the show aired. I think that was like, there's going to be a secret Klingon.
It really amounts to nothing in this episode. That's what's so offensive to me. It's basically just a reveal. It's not a reveal and like, holy shit, everything is devastated. It's a reveal like he could have really fucked shit up. At the end of this episode, it could be everybody is laid low, and we're sitting here talking on a podcast about how, holy shit, theoretically, we didn't see this coming. But even if we did see this coming, I couldn't believe the consequences of that reveal. And like, oh my God, I don't know how they survive or pick themselves up from this event. I don't understand how Michael Burnham can survive another episode of the show. It was devastating.
Right.
And we're not saying that because he choked her a bit, and then he got his ass whooped.
So you're saying he should have like maybe?
I'm saying that it should have been consequential. They took a long time. It could
right.
be
Well, that's a possible consequence of like if he had stabbed her or actually laid her low, but she gets to throw him, space him.
or legitimately flummoxed their bullshit, or like blew up the Shinzon, or like whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or realized he was Vok and not do anything. Like, and just kind of lay low and like bide his time and make a plan, and then really fuck her shit up. But the idea that ultimately he didn't know when he found out, he acted like an asshole about it but like he acted out, but at no point did it fuck anything up. Like, she's in trouble at the end of the episode, but he literally, you could have erased Ashvok from this entire episode, and she is going to be at exactly the same spot that she is at the beginning, except
Right. So plot wise, it really doesn't do anything.
except she doesn't. She uses him as like a pneumatic tube at a bank to shoot a computer chip to another ship. That's all of his consequence in this entire episode.
Yeah,
But I think the long-lasting effects of emotional trauma is probably what they'll have to unpack.
Right.
She'll never be able to. She loved once, as far as we know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've debated that in the past. I'm sure
Right.
she's been to Ryza.
True.
But as far as love is concerned,
Right.
she's loved once. She'll never be able to do it again because the dude might be a secret Klingon. So
Right. And I did
but
like.
then
I-
we know that we know that that's not going to be an issue in the next episode, because now her whole shit's about having to get over Michelle Yeoh, so we don't even have an
Right.
episode to sort of like
yeah.
adjust to it.
I mean, I did like that she wasn't like, "Oh, I'm gonna fix you now." She's like that at first, like, "Oh no, it's not true," and then he chokes her for a little bit. He doesn't do any real damage. Yeah, like it could have even just raising the stakes a little bit. If he could have stabbed her or something, she had to go to sick bay. That would have been a little bit more danger behind it. I get that.
Or he just like-
but I did like that she's just like, "All right, well, we're gonna space him or whatever." And going through with that, and I more liked Saru catching him on the other end. I liked his whole speech about like, "Fuck you," and he's like, "You should have let me die. I'm a Klingon now," or whatever. And Saru's like, "Yeah, fuck off. You don't get a warrior's death. We're the Federation. We don't play like that. We don't do capital punishment, and we have rules and codes that we live by, that we don't act like that." And I thought, mostly just because Doug Jones' performance, I thought was at him being strong, moody type there was good. I enjoyed
and I
that.
guess that Vok lives to be another day, and he's just him and Laurel are gonna plan shit. And it looks like in the next on, he's gonna have some sort of like,
he
I
does
have no
love
doubt.
Laurel. That's the most crazy thing about it. It was like how he eases into this whole Klingon, like, I'm a Klingon speech. Is that
Yeah.
the first thing he says is, "I love Laurel."
I love her.
Like, I gotta.
She's got this movie. I thought she was raping me, and it was really hard, but I realized that I was remembering that wrong. Like, yeah, it is. I mean, I guess that the Laurel Vok love story is a compelling story told over art. But I mean, aren't you supposed to think that at some point Clem Fandango is going to have second thoughts or be useful, or, have to like.
I hope so.
There'll be reconditioning. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm curious to be, because I could see them trying to do some sort of redemption arc with them. I expect. I'm just glad that they didn't rush that as much as the timing was kind of weird.
Rush the
way it-
redemption.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's a good point.
Yeah, to where I was really afraid when he realized that he was an actual Klingon, that he was gonna pull I am Vok, but you're my tether, Michael Burnham, and I realize that I can love, and that maybe we can come together, you crazy humans and us crazy Klingons. Maybe we can just make it work. And I was like, I did not want to see that kind of scene in the reveal.
Also,
So,
what is Vok's plan?
Well, he states it
He went through a lot of shit.
Yeah. He does give Burnham the secret villain, "Here's my plan" speech when he does it. He's like, "Well, here's my
His plan was, I'm going to kill you, you bitch.
There it was.
He said that we needed to get a spy on board Discovery and learn your plans.
Yeah. His whole was, we needed to find a way to infiltrate your ship. and I gave up everything I had to be rendered down to a human.
So what do we? I mean, I guess that we can fill in the gaps by assuming that there's other leadership and there's more Klingons. But from like this show, Cole is dead. Tukuma's dead. All of the leadership we saw early in the show are dead.
What's the Klingon movement? Yeah.
Yeah, like what is he going back to?
They're all whispering in hallways. They are like shushing people in hallways.
I said in episode 9's podcast, the Klingons are over, except for the Vok L'Rell thing. Even if they don't get the ship codes back to the Klingons,
There's other...
as we understand it in what the show has showed us, no vital Klingons exist.
No, that's not true. I mean, it is true that none of the Klingons that we know exist.
That's all. That's my whole point.
But there's a whole bunch of houses at war. With the
There's a bunch of
Federation.
houses,
Sure,
and the
sure.
war is still going on, so they're still worried about getting back to solve the war.
Sure, but to make them vital again, they're going to have to introduce us to new Klingons.
Yeah, they probably won't even. That's why I'm like, I'm okay just leaving that arc behind and just dealing with this mirror shit for right now, because at least it's an arc.
But then we have the
Because that war was never an arc; it was just in the background and other stuff happening every episode.
except for the Vok and Vok,
Right.
It's an existing thing, and L'Rell is an existing thing in the show. Are pretty key to what we're watching. I don't know.
I expect maybe there's going to be some sort of mutiny on the ship or something. I don't fucking know.
Sure. I mean, they'll do shenanigans. You got two bad guys on a ship. They'll do shenanigans, but we talk about serialization and overarching storyline. I don't really.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't really know what's to build to.
So to back up real quick, you still think that you really think Lorca is the villain of Star Trek Discovery?
I do. And I do that for a lot of reasons. I think that, like, I compare it to Sean Bean in the first season of Game of Thrones. You hire a big name actor to boost up your views, your subscriptions, to get a lot of people. And
The prestige of the show.
the prestige, you get new good press. If it had just been like some C-level actress from Walking Dead and Doug Jones, like that would have been... And Michelle Yeoh, who you killed in the second episode. Like, you could see that you put him on there, but then you have to kind of get him off, because it's weird. If this show goes 4 or 5 seasons, it's weird that the main character is not the captain. Just because she's got to go every time that she's got to make a decision, she's got to go get it certified. It's
I guess depends on how you do the show. I'm okay with them doing a show not about the captain,
but giving her something to overcome, a big thing to overcome.
Yeah.
And it's 5 episodes left. What is that thing?
The other thing is, you might be right. He might be the bad guy, but just because he's not, or we don't know if he's in season 2, the point you're making that you think he's the bad guy because she's going to be captain next or at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe, but he could make like a grand sacrifice or learn something. He doesn't have to be the bad guy to be dead at the end of the season.
That's true. How do we think that Michael Burnham is going to get into the captain's chair if Saru is in front of her?
Oh, is he going to die too? I hope not.
I don't know. I don't know about all that. I'm not trying to but I do think that
if it turns into a show about her and Captain Saru, I'm just more interested in a Captain Saru show.
That would be the weirdest.
I like Saru, but
it would be so weird.
Yeah, I guess I like Saru. I don't know. I don't dislike Saru. I don't care for I don't want Saru giving me a bath. I don't like him that much.
I did realize in this episode, a little Saru goes a long way.
Oh,
yes.
Because I don't know. He's an interesting character in moderation.
The Saru heavy episode that we had where he lost his goddamn mind.
Well,
that was probably one of my least favorite episodes.
Yeah. Well, I like Saru when he's written well. Like that, I've said my piece about that.
I guess I don't quite understand Saru's appeal other than it's just Doug Jones being good.
Well,
he is a good actor.
Yeah, he's
a good actor in the makeup. We put a big premium on that on ROA.
Right.
He's a good actor in the makeup.
But
he's built for that. He's like
right.
He is the greatest living good actor in the makeup.
Well, I like that he believes pretty strongly in the Federation ideals and whatever, obviously. But also that he has to fight against his cowardice is an interesting hook. I don't know how you'd build a show around him, but you could build a show around him as a captain and his cowardice, I guess, and his first officer somehow. I don't know. Who the fuck knows? She'll probably be a captain next season.
One more point I have about Lorca being the villain is that the show doesn't seem averse to tropes. And sort of the big trope going around right now is the be-all, end-all villain whose plot is intricate and complicated enough to sort of tie in all of the elements. I'm thinking of like in Skyfall, where Javier Bardem's character had orchestrated everything. And I think it started probably back with The Dark Knight, with Joker and everything, every plot element being a be-all, end-all, culminating in his control. And if Lorca was that way... And definitely Jason Isaacs is playing it that way, who's a man who's got a lot of irons in the fire, a pretty complicated juggling act that he's got to maintain.
Yeah.
And if that was a highly evolved scheme,
Yeah. I mean,
for some reason, that would be, I think, in keeping with the tone and sort of the mindset of the writers.
well, I think he definitely has a very involved scheme plan going with. I mean, I think it's obvious to us that he's from the Mirror Universe. He was trying to kill the Emperor. That story that he tells about the Mirror Universe he's obviously about him. But I don't know to what his ultimate motives for wanting to kill the Emperor are. Maybe it's just your regular, I'm going to kill the Emperor and become the Emperor endgame. But even in this episode, like when he's talking to Michael and she's gotten these orders from the Emperor that she has to just go wipe out this rebel base, basically. And she's like, I can't just wipe out all these people. And he's like, no, you have to do it. And she gives in the whole speech about like, look, I'm here, but I'm not going to give up like my Federation ideals. I'm not just, their people are struggling here too. I want to go back and win our war, but I'm not just going to like murder all these people. No, I can't do that. And he has a moment where I think he sees something and maybe he can have some character growth of his own to where he's like, maybe take some of that to heart and maybe he can learn, like what we said last week, with having a team and people behind him instead of the Mirror Universe, like every man for his own thing. Maybe he can learn, and grow as a character.
Isn't he almost too oblique? Isn't he too oblique as a character now?
What do you mean? But
do we feel like we know enough about him now for him to change? He can only be revealed in full. We don't know him intimately.
But all I'm saying, I don't know, but I'm saying that I saw a little moment here that was a moment that he had.
When? Tonight?
Yeah, I just said what it was.
Oh, sorry. I heard you say it fast. I was listening to what was the moment again? I'm sorry.
Where she said that she wasn't going to kill all those people, and he kind of registered on his face.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of things that could register. I mean, there's a lot of things that could mean.
But
Let's put it that
I'm
way.
just saying that
could register as a weakness,
right? But it looked like I'm saying that there's room for him to be a character that grows. Yeah,
there is. I think there's room too. I agree. I definitely think that there's room for this guy to like stick around. That's my hope.
Yeah,
my hope is that Lorca's interesting motivations for everything that he's doing, and not just some cheap bad guy. Like you said, he's not Javier Bardem in Skyfall.
Yeah.
And I hope that he sticks around.
Is it your hope because you can't imagine enjoying the show without him?
No, it's my hope because I think it's a more interesting story.
You got me. Well, you got me. You got me. I enjoy Jason Isaacs as an actor.
Yeah.
And I think he brings something to every time he's even when he's at the focal point of the scene. Like some of my favorite Jason Isaacs parts this first season of Discovery is when they ask him for something and he doesn't care one way or the other. It's inconsequential to him, and how he just raises his eyebrows and shakes his head, and he's like, it doesn't even matter to him. I like those moments, and I like how he's built this character of Lorca.
Mm-hmm. I do too. I like the character.
Yeah, even if he dies at this end of the season, to me, it's more interesting if he dies after having some growth as a character instead of just being this oblique Machiavellian bad guy.
Exactly.
The plot gets revealed and then he dies at the end. Because that's everybody's death hasn't meant anything. Culber just gets his net snacked because he figured something out, but he doesn't have any agency or decide to make a sacrifice or give himself up for his friends or anybody. Nobody has that kind of death. They just kind of like, oh shit, something jumps out and kills them.
Mm-hmm.
Shock value deaths.
Yeah.
It would be nice if it ended differently. I agree.
Yeah.
This one was seriously though. At least we didn't get any shock value deaths in this one.
Yeah.
I feel like we had a lot of those. I mean, starting with the pilot, right?
Yeah.
Or the second,
Yes.
Michelle Yeoh herself. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Stamets technically dies in this one, but then he comes back at the end.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, I think it was clear that I think it's clear that he doesn't die.
Right.
But like when that happened, there was no way I wasn't like, oh, Stamets is dead now too. I was like, yeah, that's not over.
Right. Yeah.
You can't literally just prune every branch off the tree.
Is there a way for the admiral to come back as the captain after Lorca's gone?
And then die?
No.
Yeah. I mean, sure. I mean, I'm just speculating that I think that he's the be all end all, especially since they're clearing the board pretty fast.
I think I don't know. Yeah.
He's got super motivation though. I mean,
Yeah.
the guy is super motivated to willingly go into an agonizer after you know, and if you're from the mirror universe, you know what an agonizer is. It's like you're not an ignorant person going like saying it won't be that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the look he gave Burnham when Burnham found out that the Emperor was Michelle Yeoh was a knowing look.
But isn't unstoppable drive usually the trait of a like an action movie villain?
Yes.
Well, yeah, but given how uneven, even given how uneven this season has been, especially at the beginning with the setup, and then they're using Brian Fuller's pilot scripts, and then all the shakeups, I presume, and it just feels jumbled, and the arcs, the plot, the themes aren't really cohering. But I still think that they'll at least follow through enough. They started with the Klingons being the instigator of this season. They'll probably end with not Lorca being the big bad guy behind everything, because he's not until the third episode. Resolving the Klingon war, yeah, maybe with Vok somehow, will tie into that final episode.
So her versus Clint Fandango's the end of the line.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Interesting.
Really? Clint Fandango was your season?
I mean, him or him and Laurel. I don't know.
Yeah, Laurel's fine.
Yeah.
I like Laurel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we have not heard
Laurel is the third best character on the show.
Wait a minute. How do you rank? Now wait a minute.
Well, number one's Lorca.
How do you rank? Who is
Number one's Lorca. Number two's Tilly because she's a character. I've said over that. Well, not it's a character. It's a good character. Okay, or a full or a three-dimensional character,
Got
or
it,
however
okay.
I can say it without pissing people
setting
off.
me off? No, it's all right. It's all right. No,
and then you would put Laurel at 3.
Yeah, I do.
Well, that
I think she's fine. I think she's got heart. She's got motivation. She's got temptations.
she's got moxie. That kid.
She's hard as fuck. She trained under Takuma. She's in love with Vok. She had to make these massive sacrifices. She's gotten her face burnt. She's doing all of this for like love and the drive of the zeal of this cult that she was in. Yeah, no, it's. I mean, she's got a lot more going on than Stamets or. I mean, even Saru had that one episode, but I mean, like, she's got a character arc. She's done some shit. She's made some sacrifices. She's suffered. And now she's got her man back. Like, Lorella got her groove back, and so, like, I don't know. Like, I'm happy for her.
why did Michael Burnham lie to Saru
I have no fucking idea.
about his species being in the mirror? Like, what's the harm of saying, yes, Saru, your counterpart is a fucking slave who bathes me? I guess is it just because it's too embarrassing?
Well, and then
he would be hurt. Like, he wants to know that his race is vital and stuff, and he comes from a slave race. That's his history, and she doesn't want to bum him out.
Oh, you think she didn't want to trigger him?
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
He comes from okay. Well,
here's the thing, though. Okay, I like. There's how the mirror works. The mirror of the mirror universe is really pretty subjective. Like, it's not all mirrors. Like he's not a predator race.
Right.
And Klingons are not pussies. Like it's weird how what's the mirror and what
It
isn't.
depends on the narrative. It all serves.
Yeah. Is it a personality quirk or is it a like?
Right.
So it is kind of a weird sort of how the mirror works thing. So he's basically the same. There is not other than Saru has less rights, but there doesn't seem to be any stark personality differences. They don't seem duplicitous.
Yeah.
Like, it's what I was wondering about because they're very honest and pretty forthright. Are they duplicitous? I was wondering maybe they're brave, but none of that stuff. He's
I think
he's Saru like with a shittier life.
I think Prime Saru is very proud of what he's accomplished and everything. I think that's the one thing I can find to compare.
The other one's
Yeah,
like a
but-
beatdown.
yeah.
Whereas Mirror Saru is just sniveling and just totally beaten down.
You make a good point, though. It's not Bizarro universe
Yeah.
where the Klingons are weak and the Sarus are strong.
Yeah.
It is the mirror universe where
Me hate you, my wife. Like,
Right.
yeah, exactly.
me help people make crime. Like, yeah, it's
Right.
bizarre. Yeah, so it is pretty interesting. So part of me thought it was a little weird that she didn't bring it up to him. It was equally weird that why not just tell her that
She doesn't.
Culber, that guy you met a couple of times got murdered too. But I guess I don't know.
Did Culber ever have a scene with Burnham?
Uh,
Because they have that scene where Tilly and Saru are talking about, and Saru was like, Culber was a colleague, and I'm like, did they even meet?
right. Well, there was the one in the time loop episode where they bump into each other in the hallway.
That's
and he's sorry about my boyfriend. He's being weird.
Right. There was
That's-
that one scene. I think
Right,
that's the
right.
one scene they shared together. Is Culber dead?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
We'll see.
You don't think there'll be some time travel shenanigans that sets it right?
I think that Wilson Cruz will be on this show again.
Right.
In a flashback or a mirror
As a Jedi ghost?
as a force ghost.
Right. Basically, I think he's going to meet him in. I think he's going to go to the Mushroom Kingdom where he met Mirror Stamets, and maybe like his ghost lives in the Mushroom Kingdom, mycelial plane, neural network, or whatever.
Yeah. There could be a mirror Stamets. There could be a
Well, we saw Mirror Stamets in the Mushroom place, right?
I'm sorry, I meant mirror.
Mirror Culber.
Yeah.
Yeah. Though I do believe they have said that they weren't going to have a Mirror Culber, but who can trust what these writers say?
I mean, that's true, but they haven't said in the I don't know what to say. I don't know. Maybe.
Right. Yeah, they also said Ash wasn't Vox.
Is Mirror Colbert maybe Mirror? That's what it is. Because we've talked about, or I don't know if we've openly theorized this, that it was said last week. We just didn't talk about it in the podcast that there's probably a Mirror Discovery romping around the Prime universe right now.
Oh, right.
So Culber would be on that, right?
Presumably.
Maybe.
And so the Mirror Universe Captain Killy
Right.
is fucking around the Klingon War. And
So maybe that's the, like, when she's on the Rebel base talking the Devil Inside Vok over and over again, asking, how did you come together? How did you come together? You're Klingon. Klingons hate everybody, but you're talking to these Andorians and these Tellarites.
Yeah,
His answer is that
she kept
what's your deal? Like, wait, everybody. Tell me, what's your
He
deal?
would give an answer. He would give like a 2-word answer, and she would press him further. She's fucking
Right.
Barbara Walters or something.
Well, his answers weren't answering her question. He was like, Klingons are proud. And she's like, I know that was the premise of the question that I had. But we will fight for Klingon, whatever. But then it basically comes out as the common enemy.
Right.
That they have a common enemy. So I guess the big reveal that, like, I don't know why she couldn't just, I mean, don't they have Sun Tzu in the 23rd century or whatever?
Ooh.
Like, that's a.
Here's a theory. What if the big bad of the season is the Mirror Discovery's going around fucking up all this shit, and the reason they don't talk about it on or know about it on the original series is because they had this ship go batshit and start killing everybody, and they had to strike it from the record or something. So it's out of the history books.
But presumably the Prime Discovery will come back, right?
Yeah, but somehow they have to end up hidden from the histories.
Because if this show is just a long line of sexy dominatrix theater, which is what I can't stand about the Mirror Universe.
right.
Everybody talking like this. No, I will tell you when you can. Like, it was like, fuck, guys, come on. Like, I can't stand much more with this. Like, but and I'm sure next week is going to be full of sexy dominatrix theater.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, the more that they do that, the more that I don't know. I like this. I'm not like going in the Mirror Universe is not the worst place for them to go, and what they're doing here in the Mirror Universe, part of the plot, not the Vok part of the plot, is more interesting than where we've been.
Yeah.
But you can't stay here for very long.
No.
Like or you'll start it'll start getting to me.
Yeah. I think they're staying here at least 2 more episodes and just stay long enough to have like an actual arc.
Yeah.
A story that progresses in an arc in a serialized fashion, and I'm like, all right, well, I'll chalk that up as a win because I don't feel like I really got that in the first chapter or whatever.
Yeah. And I will say that I did like all the Rebel stuff.
Yeah.
Like I liked going down to we got a Southern California quarry. That's a standard.
Yeah. Your standard Star Trek quarry planet. Yeah.
Yeah. You go, or I guess maybe it was a Toronto quarry. I don't know.
Probably.
It was a quarry. It was a classic
They
Star.
threw a blue gel over it, so it looked good.
Yeah.
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 Yes,
it was
Discovery loves that blue gel on their planets.
My God. Okay. So, like, real quick, like a couple of years ago, Hollywood discovered the amber and blue are like colors that sell things. Once you see it on every cover, like those 2 colors are on everything, every movie and TV show that's been marketed. Use that dark blue and that amber. You see it everywhere. And this show just went nuts with it. And I think that I think they feel like they got some sort of like mind quake, like research, like that the subliminal human mind really responds to blues and ambers. Yeah. They get it, and so it's I'm so sick of it.
That sounds like something Alex Kurtzman would produce for.
Yeah, it's specifically that level of Hollywood is always doing these blue and amber shit.
Well, that's why I really liked the USS Callister had that bright red, like their color palette.
Yeah, that was
were on
perfect.
point.
Yeah,
And they pretty much filmed in the same quarry. They just used a different filter for the color.
They did film in a quarry. They used a red filter on that. But so I did like that. I did like that the rebels are fun, and I like that. I like that whole scene, except for all the Vok shit that didn't. I don't understand why that happened. But like, I mean, that's what I was like trying to like.
I understand why it happened, but your point that it could have paid off better. Yeah,
Sure. because the programming word, he said the prayer.
Yeah.
One of the interview, one of the answers to her interview question was the actual prayer that sends Vok off.
Right. Oh, right. Because Kalis guides me. Her like, what?
Yeah.
Not my Kalis.
Is it interesting that I don't know? Like, I think it's probably because of the makeup and the art of the product's thesis. But why is he called Kailash? Why do they have like a?
Oh, that's the correct.
They have a speech impediment.
No, James. Actually, the people that are really intense on speaking Klingon correctly, Klingon S's are supposed to sound like that.
Actually, every time you've ever seen a fucking Klingon talk about Kalas, he says Kalas.
Actually, they've been mispronouncing it for 30 years. I don't know, man. But that's the nerd corner reason is that's how you're supposed to pronounce it. Yes, I know. But I know.
But anyway, everybody sounds like he talks like Kailash.
I wonder what Michael Dorn thinks when he has to sit down and watch all this.
Yeah, right.
He must be tickled shitless he's not in that makeup.
I would love to get drunk and talk to Michael, like get Michael Dorn drunk too, and talk to him about or just get high with Michael Dorn and talk about like.
Look, we're not at a convention stage right now. Just let's just chill out.
Just tell me what.
Just you and me.
Tell me what you think.
Yeah. I promise I don't have any recordings or anything. I just want to hang out.
So yeah, I mean, I get logically why he was triggered, but I don't get what did that do for that scene. It just made it.
Well, he was triggered because he's a snowflake.
But it made it weird for Michael, and like it raised the tension a little bit.
And then the tension got diffused. Yeah.
And then the tension got diffused, and like nothing came of any bit of tension. So then they just delay the fight to like private. Like that was kind of weird. I was like, why would these tough motherfuckers go like, you know what? Let's kill this motherfucker. What's the deal here?
Yeah,
like,
well, it's classic Bond. I guess he had to have the "let me explain my nefarious plan" scene, and he couldn't do it there.
yeah, he had to go somewhere else. And
Yeah,
but I liked the scene up until that. I even liked Mirror Vok in that scene.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's hard for me to relate to this episode because we guessed everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so
That's kind of what I'm excited
it's
about.
so deflated. It's so deflating.
Yeah, going forward, now that we got all this other shit done, now I feel like there's starting to get room to surprise me. They'll drag out like oh, look at this hint, like that maybe Lorca's not what he says he is. It's like, yeah, no shit, he's Mirror. But other than that, like, I don't know where they're going now. So that is a little bit exciting for me.
Well, Lorca's Mirror Universe.
Well, yes. But then how do they get back? And what are they gonna do when they get back? Are they gonna tie it up better than just like, hey, we're back, war's over, or is there gonna be something interesting that
Well, I think the Pauls are probably going to save them.
Oh, right.
Ultimately.
Yeah.
And so that's why I wonder if this discovery is a pure red herring.
Mm-hmm.
It's either a pure red herring, which means it doesn't matter. It'll give them something busy, and then they'll get like it won't be important to even get there next episode. Or is it a pure MacGuffin where they have to work to get there, but once they're there, it just transports them back?
Oh, you mean the Defiant?
The Defiant, I'm sorry. And then, or is it an actual plot? Is it like a big plot reveal where they'll get there and then like,
Right. Well, are they
like
trying
something
to
will open up for like, oh shit, what is going on here?
Are they trying to find the actual Defiant or just decode the records of how the Defiant got there?
That's an interesting question.
Because I always assumed they're just trying to figure out how the Defiant got there and to recreate that. Which I think from I haven't watched Enterprise.
They've got what they need.
But from the Tholian Web thing is like some weird interstellar huge event, like a star explodes or something that sends them back in time and across dimensions.
So my guess is then it fails, and then the Pauls have to get them there.
Yeah. And
so then it's a pure red herring.
maybe
It's not even a MacGuffin then.
Yeah, well, it's just you say red herring, I say it's just an Easter egg. Hey, look, remember that Enterprise?
Well, no, it's not an Easter egg because it's being used to drive the plot forward.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to remember.
Yeah. And how the Stamets save them is mushroom somehow, but I don't know exactly how that's going to play out.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
The thing that will really surprise me with this show is if they actually do pay off the Colbert death and make that work at all.
Yeah.
Like they've said that they will, but like I feel like they're gonna like just give him a goodbye scene in the Mushroom Kingdom, and that's gonna be that, and they're gonna say, "See how great that is? It's a love story for the ages," and I'm gonna be like, "What?"
Yeah.
If they can give me that, great. I hope they can.
So I'll ask this then, because this is not like a is this shit or is it good? But is it like I'll just ask this all around. What are we most involved? What storyline are we most? What are we most involved in going in 4 episodes out? Like what are your
the fate of Lorca? I would imagine. That's for me. I want like what are his motivations and what's his fate?
Yeah. That I mean, Lorca's obviously maybe it's not obvious, but yes, he's the most interesting character to me.
Yeah.
Mostly because Jason Isaacs is so great.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Is that Hugh? What's an actor that you think is good, but you just don't give a shit about?
Oh, well, I mean, I saw the post last night, so like,
If it was Sam Rockwell playing Lorca,
right.
where would you be right now? Everything's the same. He's given the same quality of performance, but he's Sam Rockwell and not Jason Isaacs. Because I know you have you're drawn to Jason Isaacs as like an actor.
Yeah. I think he. Probably I'd probably be less interested. I definitely think the fact that Jason Isaacs has a presence, aids in its fascination.
Yeah. And I like him a lot too. I'm trying to discern how much it's hard to do.
Yeah.
But how much of it is him bringing, it actually has an importance because it's his fate where he ends up in the last episode is going to probably be writing over acting.
Right.
You know, if they wrote something that's not compelling for him at the end, it's going to be hard for Jason Isaacs, the superb actor, to make it super compelling. But if it's compelling on the if they got a handle on Lorca, then they probably have a handle on where Lorca's going. And I'm just not really sure yet.
Right.
If it's like a perfect marriage of script and actor, or is the actor carrying the script?
Right.
And at the end of the day, will that trip up?
Are we in an OA situation? Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah, he's great in OA. And OA...
like, yeah. Oh, can we at least say this is better than the OA? Not as good as Gilmore Girls, but better than the OA.
Yeah, I think that the OA assumes a lot about how the viewer like thinks of humanity. I think, yes.
Wow, James, you're a little hesitant to say
this is better than this.
Well, wait, because you're right. Okay, but there's parts of the OA that I keep going back to as being really well put together. And one of them is Phyllis. I was like, that's not her name, but Phyllis. You know,
that's
Phyllis.
Another instance of the actor selling it over the script for me.
Well, Jason Isaac, Phyllis was great.
Yeah.
Jason Isaacs was great. That
because those actors are great.
The Borg Queen.
Yeah.
The Borg Queen is great. But there was
That's your point. That's the point we were just asking, though. Like, is it the character, or is it the actor, or is it the script?
No. I know, but here's the thing: is that like talented people doing dumb shit that people should that someone should have stopped them from. It's insane. It's insane. The OA is insane. It's ridiculous. But it's like everybody that asked me about it, I'm like, oh, you should totally watch it.
Okay, Mike, and I just simple question: do you think this is worse than the OA or better?
I think this is better than the OA. Okay. I enjoyed watching the OA more.
Okay.
And I'm not trying to say negative things about this.
No. That's fine. That's fine.
I didn't predict that the OA would end with a school shooter and them stopping a school shooter by doing modern dance.
But they didn't stop school shooter.
I didn't.
Oh, your spoilers, man. There's people here that haven't.
Let's not turn this into the OA.
But I didn't.
This could
but my
easily
point is,
go.
But my point is that I didn't predict that. There's something about a show being really predictive that's just really defeating. Not everybody feels that way.
I would never ask anyone to go watch the OA. I'd ask them to go listen to our podcast where we talked about the OA on the rules of acquisition.
We'll unpack it there.
You got to see the last 5 minutes of the OA, and to understand how weird that is, you got to see all of the OA.
No, just listen to our podcast. We'll tell you how dumb it is.
But the OA is not good.
Yes. The other thing, I guess I am interested in to see how this Stamets plotline plays out. Even, and that's not character.
Sure.
Right, I want to know, you made a joke about this before, does Tilly get her, does she get her letter of reference, or does she get court-martialed for killing a motherfucker?
Yeah.
Well, she was giving him scientific experiments. She's just trying to fix the problem that they fucked up earlier, so.
Sure.
Right?
Well, and he's not dead, obviously. He starts twitching at the end of it because they didn't take him to the morgue. They left him in the box after they rush in to put the defibrillator on him.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Why would the guy be considered brain dead and they just leave him in that box?
No idea.
Yeah, I don't know. He's still a little hot to touch. We just got to let it cool down.
We gotta get the clearance papers. Here's the thing: like, I can't. I don't know, and I don't know what it is, and it's not because I absolutely know where it's going. I mean, we guessed that there was 2 Stametses and there 2 Pauls, and there is, but I don't know where that storyline's going, and I assume it's going to like he's fixed.
I guess,
and they don't mess with that spore drive magic ever again.
Maybe, but I mean, what I'm intrigued by is the fact that I don't exactly know, because so much of this show has been like, we know exactly where you're going with it. Yes, he's Vok. Yes, the Emperor's going to be Michelle Yeoh. We know this. You're not surprising us here.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, Lorca's probably from the Mirror Universe.
Yeah.
And yes, they're going to solve the Stamets issue, but how exactly? I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
And will they be able to do a better justice to Culber's character than they did by just snapping his neck that for shock value.
All right.
That's an interesting question. I think I know where you go. Where, are we super stoked for Michelle Yeoh next week? I mean, we assume.
Sure.
I assume she's probably a one and done sort of performance.
Oh yeah,
I'm a little wary from seeing. I'm very excited about Michelle Yeoh with swords. I've many of my favorite moments are Michelle Yeoh with swords. But I saw in the trailer, like I said before, and I've said in a lot of places, I generally just don't like this hammy acting that people do in Mirror Universe episodes, and she seems to be doing a little bit of that in the trailer for next week.
Yeah.
So it makes me nervous. She's a wonderful actress who can play some really tender and even some weird, compelling roles. I don't want her to, like, if she's a lot like the 2 minutes she's in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, that would be exciting for me. But I don't know. I'm looking forward to it though, and I'm glad they gave her a sword.
yeah,
Sword is a nice touch, guys.
yeah. You're gonna have Michelle Yeoh. Give her a sword. Come on.
We do think that the wink in Lorca's eyes is the heaviest tip off yet that he's other than him saying "Let's go home" and then sending him to the mirror.
Yeah. He had this whole thing with Michael where he's like, "No, you have to stay on the ship. We got to give Saru time because what if he can't decipher the disc that you sent him?"
Yeah.
And really, he just wants to stay on the ship because he's got his other plans that he wants to follow through on.
Yeah.
And when he smiles at the Emperor being there, I think that's a tip off that like, oh wait, this is really playing into what he wanted to do.
Mhm.
So yes, because he's from the Mirror Universe, obviously.
Yeah. I'm glad the Vox over with. I guess that's
a
good.
big
We don't
relief.
have
Yeah.
which is a little bit, which is a negative positive. It's like I equated it.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's like saying I like it when people stop hitting me with hammers. Like
Right.
it's not like that's not why we watch TV. But nonetheless, it is nice to have that storyline.
They
over
got
with.
that nonsense out of their system. Is how I feel.
Right.
Like now they can get on to.
They didn't do it fat. They didn't get it out of the system fast,
No.
but they got it out of their system. Yes.
I've had a flu or fever for a lot longer than I wanted to, but sometimes you just gotta sit with it and
Yes.
get it out. So, but
Yeah.
I don't think I'm gonna die tonight. So that's great. Thank you.
Yeah. I only had one problem with the app. We sometimes do app. How are we on the app? Are we with the? Or is this the app? Or?
My app was working.
It's fine. I just watch it through my computer, and the web app is stupid. I don't like it because it keeps the cursor on the screen, and after each commercial I have to move the cursor around to make the progress bar at the bottom go away. It can't just go away on its own. I have to get up and go back to my computer.
And if you have to scan through the episode to see things real quick, sometimes we have to do that.
When you pause it shrinks it. The UI sucks. Yeah, I got a problem. I got problems with the app. But
I got problems with the app. My worst thing is that I've seen, and this isn't necessarily, I mean, this is the app, is that sometimes I watch it on Apple Apple TV, and sometimes the ads have click through. So if you pause, like if you
oh no,
it's like it takes you to a website on your fucking Apple TV, and I'm
Oh my
like,
God.
I don't.
oh
It's
no.
that
It's
was
got
possible.
like porn pop-ups, and it takes you to a different ad to
that's
essentially to a
awful.
website page or to a and I'm like, what the fuck, and I can't get out of here. It's like one of those free to play apps on your phone, and you click the screen instead of clicking the X, and it it's fuck you.
It takes over your phone.
Yes. So there.
Yeah.
Fuck you, CBS.
Yeah.
All Access app again.
Yeah.
All told, I mean, I think that I don't know. I'm not gonna say that either. I'm not gonna say the show's moving in the right direction.
You can't say anything nice. Don't.
Edit me not saying anything. Take it all out. Okay.
All right.
Because I was going to try and say that the show's moving in the right direction, but it caught in my throat. So, so just have me say nothing at all. All right.
All right. I don't want you to betray your values or anything or who you are.
It is getting rid of things that I hate. I don't know. That's a thing, I guess. So, all right.
All right.
Yeah. Anybody got anything else?
I think we did it.
Yes.
All right.
We did it twice, motherfucker.
That's right.
Yeah. Right.
Jesus. All right. Well, Wade, do you want to give the good folks out there listening our contact information if they want to call in?
Oh yeah. I'll give you the whole spiel that I give you every time. Give us a call. We really love hearing from you, and we want to hear from you. So give us a call at 917-408-3898. That's our little call-in line for this show and also our other DS9 podcast, The Rules of Acquisition. You can also email us with an audio file and try to keep it under 3 minutes at rulesofacquisitionpodcast@gmail.com.
And we always try to post a Q&A episode where we take your calls before the next episode airs. Generally, it's up on Saturday. Is that right? But we record them on Thursdays. So you have to have it in by the Thursday on a U.S. night on Thursday. So
Yes.
So call in by then.
Yeah, there's a lot of good insight in there. So check that out. Support us on Patreon if you like what we do. Patreon.com/kickersofelves. We got some other cool stuff over there, like a whole Dune podcast, if you're that kind of sci-fi nerd.
If you like to hear good friends argue about a book.
Yes.
And I mean,
Actually,
really,
if you're not that kind of sci-fi nerd, this is a good podcast for you as well.
Right. If you're that kind of Dune sci-fi nerd, I mean, you should give it a listen.
You know our number. We might, if we get enough of you. I'm a Dune seeker, so I need to I want to understand more. So give us a call in. Yeah.
All right.
It's great. I love it. I hope it's not ruining my friendship with Wade.
Yeah, but I don't know. If you've listened to enough of A Discovery Home Companion, you may have heard us bicker a little bit. Dune's like that, except we also get some good ideas.
Except for you is cranked up to 11.
Yeah, right. But we get some good ideas out through our bickering.
I think we do too.
I think so too. And I listened to the Jodor. I mean, we can edit this out, but I listened to the Jodorowsky podcast and the one that we did, and we redeem we talk about ourselves and our hopes and our dreams. Like it's a different kind of podcast, so it's nice.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks again for listening to A Discovery Home Companion. We hope you join us next week for the next episode of A Discovery Home Companion. For Wade, James, and myself, 3 to beam out.
Devil inside.
Subscribe to us on iTunes or Stitcher or Caster or Fuckcast or Podsucker. Review us on iTunes. Also grab a bit of fame for yourself by calling us at 917-408-3898 and leaving us a message. We play that shit on air. Or email us at rulesofacquisitionpodcast@gmail.com. Also, listen to our Deep Space Nine podcast, Rules of Acquisition. It is pretty amazing, but you may not yet be ready for its awesome amazingness. Assess your personal awesomeness appropriately.